Wow. So this dude, actually, the guy who shot everyone, is an actual white supremacist. I'm reading it now. He posted a manifesto.
Makes sense.
Actually,
Great.
180-page manifesto.
Oh my
Great-
gosh.
Great, because now they need fuel to make every shooting about
Yep.
that exactly thing.
People are nuts, dude.
Yep. He said he was radicalized on the internet because he was bored during the early days of the pandemic, not by any people he met personally.
What?
Through his research.
Interesting.
Like, I get not liking people. I'm there. Like, I'm not very much of a people person,
Did he,
but
did he live or
What?
did
But
he shoot?
dude, it's a. The
Did
thing
he-
is
he alive?
yeah.
Okay.
it was alive.
No. Oh no, he live streamed it too, supposedly.
Oh wow. What?
Yeah,
What's
dude.
wrong with people? Did
But
anyone
this is the
die?
type of thing that makes me want to look into, like,
Did anyone pass away?
see, because I get the conspiracy mindset. It's like, all right, how did this? You know what I mean? Like, how does this happen? How do they? You know what I mean? Like,
Like, is he a plan or something?
stuff. No, but stuff is just so targeted that they could just, you know what I mean? They find someone who's got a weak mind. It's just like put it.
He's over the target.
Just keep putting, images in his face. Let him know, like they're like, oh, this guy seems like he's a little white supremacy. Let's get him radicalized. You know what I mean? Make him feel less and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's the thing. I agree that we need to figure out a way to stop people from thinking in black, white, all that kind of stuff. The fact it's horrible. It's crazy that yeah.
Yeah. No.
Through his research, a self-described white supremacist and anti-Semite came to see low white birth rates around the world as a crisis that will ultimately result in the complete racial and cultural replacement of European people. Yeah, this dude was a sick guy. That's
horrible.
dude, teenager, all that kind of stuff. I like to see his parents. I'd like to. There's so many things that go into it, but yeah,
No, it was the gun's fault.
dude.
The
The
outlaw
thing
gun.
is, as crazy as of course, the gun's fault. But the thing that's crazy is that this is the type of thing that, like, the left is like, they're almost happy it happens.
right.
Well, I
Well, that's what I'm
hope
saying.
that's
Now they have fuel.
Yeah, and that's what's horrible. And it's like one of those things where it's like, dude,
The
I don't.
far left.
Does anyone know? Huh?
Which is
far
a,
left.
which
Yes,
is a
of
big
course,
which
of
is a big part of the left nowadays.
Yeah, and dude, that's the thing that's so sad about it, if you really think about it, is like, there's nobody who's trying to, like, defend this. Like, as soon as we like, the thing is, to have the gut reaction of, like, that I had, which is like, oh, okay, are you sure it's about white supremacy? Is because of how many times it's not.
Or like relied to so much.
Yeah, and we're lied to so much. It's not because I'm sitting there being like, oh, I want to defend white people. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do when, like, this guy nailed him to the wall. Like, this is ridiculous. He's writing a thing. He thinks that he's being radicalized, probably from, people on the left almost telling him. I don't know. It's definitely a messed up thing. Oh man,
I wonder how he got a gun. Like, do you think he has any like mental problems?
I have no clue. You never know. This might be
Maybe that's a way they could like be more serious about background checks, or more serious about, or like more in depth.
But
Not
it
that
doesn't
they're
matter.
not
Most
serious,
criminals,
but-
most criminals get their gun. People who do
right
this,
illegally, because
Yeah.
it's just
there's
how the
so many
world
guns in
works.
this country. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do. The thing that would have been best to hear about is if one of the black people who were there was armed and got
Shot
him.
him in the face.
Yeah,
Sorry, that was a
exactly.
little-
As horrible
that
as
was
it's
a
Like
little-
the church shooting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I
Yeah.
would rather, you know what I mean? And then you don't have to keep this guy alive. You don't have to do all that stuff. Like, it's, yeah. And it's horrible because it's not what we want. You know what I mean? It's
Of
not like
course
anybody likes to see this or anything like that. And it's just like,
I feel like I don't know about like the whole
Depressing.
having something happen to him just so he doesn't have to be alive, because like
It's not our
because
decision.
he's gonna be in jail the rest of his life. So like,
but you have to
there's
take,
no-
the whole thing is you have to take care of him, all that kind of stuff. He deserves a death penalty, in my humble opinion, just because he killed people. That's retribution.
No, I get obviously I get that.
You know what I mean? Like, the only thing you could hope for is that somehow, but that's the thing, people will never listen to him. He understands one day that this is horrible, and that he's able to talk to people who are racist and get them to change their mind. That's the only way he could serve, the public. Well, will he? Probably not. He's going to get thrown into prison. There's going to be a million white supremacists there. He's probably going to get glorified, as horrible as it is, by some of the people who are there.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, send him to prison where he's surrounded by a bunch of people who think like him. Cool.
Make him a key.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
They're
Like,
called.
but hey, I hope he finds Christ. You know what I mean? I hope the people that died
That's why
knew Christ and
I-
stuff. Like,
I'm not a. The death penalty is so.
you've heard what I've said. I like it as a bargaining chip
I don't like it
more. But like, when it's something, dude, he live streamed it. This is
No,
one of
yeah.
those things where it's like, you need to stop people from doing something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's like,
Yeah, that's the second live streamed one I've seen. Do you remember the guy who
That went to the
in
mosques
Ohio?
and stuff in
No,
Ohio.
no, the dude who was like
Oh,
just sitting in
the-
his car and then
The black
homeless-
supremacist guy, right? Wasn't
I think
it
so.
him?
I don't
Yeah.
know. He killed some homeless like black guy. I'm like
I don't even think he was homeless, dude. That
no,
dude had a
he was,
family.
he was like someone's
No, he
grandpa.
live streamed it.
Right. He put it around Facebook and he
And
shot
Dave
him, like,
Chappelle,
right in the
Dave
middle.
Chappelle, literally that night was talking about, which is crazy. Such
Well,
a
he's from
crazy
Ohio.
idiot. No,
He's
but
from
he
Ohio,
was
so-
doing jokes on stage, and that's when he was like, "I go hard in the paint." And he's talking about how he like went about it, and the guy was still in large. And then you know how he got caught.
Yeah, he got caught in Erie.
Do you know how he got caught?
I forget. It was like stupid.
he was at McDonald's,
Right.
and they knew it. They one of the people recognized him, and they were like, "Oh, your fries are going to take a little bit. Can you
They
pull over
caught
to the
that one.
side?"
Yeah.
And he did the thing where he's sitting there.
That's smart.
You know what I mean? Sitting there waiting for his fries,
And then police show up.
and he got McDonald's got you. Thanks, Mickey D's.
Let's see. I mean,
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Got you, bitch.
teaches you not to eat fast food.
The death penalty just
I'm
like
streaming it.
it's like freaks me out a little because
If you have video of it,
it's just like
That's how I
who
think of
am I to put someone to death? I'm not God. That's not my decision.
But the-
also, them being in prison forever is
But then being,
torture.
but then I see that side of it, and then I also see the side of
Yeah, like it's
being
like,
being somewhat submissive to
This is the
your
thing.
government.
also
like,
you're supposed to like forgive. And what if like he found Christ
Yeah.
before he died? It's like you took that away from him.
but say I met
don't know.
say I met this guy, right?
I mean, the thief on the cross is being executed.
Yeah.
too, and
And
different
yeah,
things.
it's just like weird to me. Like I'm never like, yeah, kill that person. Like never. I never.
yeah, I don't
Even,
see
like,
I don't see it
Hitler,
in a vengeful
He killed
thing.
most of my family, and I'm over here like, well, if there's like a slight chance that he could have converted and found God,
Doesn't
that's
mean you don't
great.
have him converted. This is what I was gonna say.
You can hear the word whether he's in
I'm
jail
just
or
so
not.
conflicted about
No,
that.
this is what I was gonna say. Is say I met this dude, regardless of color or anything like that.
Well, yeah.
Met this guy, and I'm someone who's in authority, and I sit there. I still think the death penalty for him is the right thing to do, but doesn't mean that you're not trying to save his soul before it happens. Because he can be saved,
But
and
then
it's
are
still
you murdering him?
No, you're not murdering. He needs to. That's part
That's
of
like
his
his punishment,
That's
but
why
God
That's
says
why
that-
no. That's why God gave the government the sword. The Bible talks about it. The
It
sword.
just says
to,
vengeance is mine. So then I'm like, am
vengeance
I taking that
through
into my own
God's
hands?
will can be served through the government. That's why it's nice when your government's small and it's efficient and it's moral,
Yeah.
which
that guy,
is so
that,
hard.
Yeah, and that
I
if-
see
and
both
it-
sides,
And
I
when that
do.
guy dies, whether it's death penalty or not, he will still have to talk
Answer
with
to
God.
God,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So his vengeance will still be on him.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
just don't want to get up there and him be like, that wasn't your decision. Not that I'm the
Won't
one
it be
that like.
won't it be crazy if he gets up there and God's like, I get it.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead, Mike.
Sounds so
Oh,
much like
Mike,
God.
Mike,
Elaborate.
Mike's pulling a Dave Chappelle, going hard in the paint.
Um,
Obviously, it's a joke.
Did anyone pass away?
Learn that from your
Of
buddy.
course, no,
People
dude. 10
passed
people.
away.
Yeah, people died.
All
It's
of
bad.
them? 10
Yeah.
people?
I don't know. I think
Absolutely
they said
horrible.
2. He shot 10. I don't know. I've only read the one thing, but
Yeah, like I'm not over here saying like, yeah, like that this guy should. It's fine. I'm not. It's just like the whole like taking someone's life for some reason. I am like conflicted. Like I get it. Like let's say someone
Well,
killed
bibli-
Vinny.
Biblically, you have a point too, because I'm pretty sure, like, didn't we just read? Just like vengeance is
Exactly, that's
God's,
what I'm
and
talking
do you
about.
but the
want?
government is given the sword, and if you have something that's written in law, and it's a magistratal duty. It actually just did it over in the Catechism. It talks about having if I was a magistrate, so you know how the magistrates work, right? With like the county seat or whatever, stuff like that, and the jury of his peers goes, he's guilty of this, and I'm the judge, right? I am in a
You're
magistrate.
appointed in that position.
My job is to
Yeah.
go. You deserve death penalty
Well, thank God I'm not a judge.
because you were given this.
Horrible.
But that doesn't mean that I don't take my robe off and go, hey man, like I hope you can find Christ. I don't want you to go to. I don't want anyone to go to
Right.
hell.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter what horrible thing it is, because hell is so unbelievably
And you're
horrible.
Able to be
And also that,
forgiven.
also that vengeance is mine verse, I think, is more like don't be
Worry
vengeful
about-
toward people.
yeah.
No, it
Like-
means
So,
don't
like,
take
if you
the
see
law
us-
into your own hands,
Well,
because
that and like if you see a situation like,
Isn't
and then
that
you
what people-
understand why he's being put to death, I think that's different than trying to.
you work
make
through
sure
the
he's put to
system.
death.
You work through the system because that way you know if there's something going on. Because maybe there's something we don't know about this. You never know. Maybe someone has his family tied up. You know what I mean? And they're threatening his family.
Like, if you don't do this,
Yeah, we're gonna kill your family.
I wouldn't
if you
be
don't.
surprised with how corrupt everything is.
No, I'm not saying that's what's happening.
No, I'm just saying,
I'm
like, I
saying-
wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like,
Hillary.
yeah, that makes sense.
Hillary
But
again.
like
Oh.
that's to me, if you sit there and you go, oh, well then, yeah, he should still probably have life in prison. But now I'm probably not getting killed because there's that thing there where if I'm a judge, I'm sitting there going like, wow, you're put in a really messed up position, man. And you should have, as horrible as it is, as tried to, not do that. That's you shouldn't take other people. But at the same time, now I understand where it's like, no, that's not open and shut. That's not death penalty worthy. You were, in a impossible situation,
Yeah.
But that's the only way. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason you have juries, because if the jury sits there, they might sit there and be like, oh, but we decided that we don't want to give him death. We're just going to do life with parole.
Yeah.
Or maybe that would
No
even
parole.
maybe that would even be considered manslaughter, because dude, you know what I mean? Like, that's your family. That's what I'm saying. That's why you have it there. Not just one of these people's family members grab a gun and shoot him, because if you're one of those family members and later you find out that that's the situation,
You're gonna feel awful.
you're going to be guilty of murder. You know what I mean? Because that's not the right way to go. You got to go through the system. And that's why it's so important that the system isn't corrupted, isn't just moved by popular opinion, but what is the law? What's going on? Like, I'm as against the death penalty almost as you can be, unless it's one of those things where it's like it's on video, it's obvious. That dude released a manifesto. Like, you know what I mean? This is one of those things.
He wanted people to know.
Yeah, and it's like, this dude deserves to be, this guy deserves to be.
He deserves what he
It's weird.
Yeah.
what you
It's weird.
effing deserve.
Yeah, and if he or anybody who
Murray.
murders anyone finds Christ, as much as weird as it is, and it's funny because it's like a military thing. It's like it's the government's job to make him have the meeting, like, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Have the meeting.
Like, meet Christ.
Oh.
Because they
Oh,
put him to
got it,
death.
got it,
Yeah,
got it.
and
Bye-bye.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
just, I think of how I was before Jesus, and I just didn't even know that it was an option. It was there. So it's like, I hope someone would take the time to speak to him about that before. I don't know. It's just like, I'm not defending this guy. Let me just put that out there. I just care about people's souls
yeah.
and where
We
they
know
stop.
you and Mike are both serious. Mike was
We
like,
saw your manifesto, Rachel.
Yeah, it's out there. I just care about people's souls, and I don't know. Before, if I didn't find church, and if we didn't have our experience together, spiritual experience together, I don't know if I would be saved, because I wasn't taught about it. I didn't know anything about it, and no one explained it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know. Like, so I don't want that option to be taken away from someone because they haven't experienced someone explaining it to them. Does that make sense?
Of course, but the whole thing is not like they just kill you right away. It's not like he's not gonna. The
Right.
gospel probably will be shared with him. He's going to jail,
I hope so.
but at the same time,
Like, as much as I want that guy to, like, I'm so conflicted because it's like what he did was
Hey,
absolutely atrocious.
there are
we're hopeless romantic for people's souls.
I
That's how we
know.
are.
there are
I'm
serial
too
killers who come to
soft.
Christ during jail time.
I'm way too soft.
Son of Sam has I think he preaches
I hope
in
so.
the jail.
Dude, did you hear about the lady? This is what's crazy. This is the things that Christ can do that are crazy. That, sorry if you're not a believer or
What?
whatever.
Why are you
we're-
apologizing
No,
for
no, I'm just
Jesus?
saying, like, and you're
Watch
in
your
this
mouth.
and it's hard. I'm not apologizing for Jesus. I'm
kidding.
just saying some people have
No,
don't
yeah,
have a
they-
palate for this.
they get-
Fast forward. But anyways, the thing that's so cool is like learning about, like, in Philly, like
Get used to
some dude, regardless, even if you're someone who doesn't believe, the things that Christ can do, or the Christian religion, whatever you want to say, it's Christ. That's how we see it. People can literally, someone's son can be murdered by a gang member. Like, I forget what the story is. I should probably bring it up, but her son was murdered by a gang member. She went to prison. She went to the prison to go talk to the dude, and she brought him to Christ.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Didn't he, like,
He lives with her.
Right,
They
right.
lived after he got out and did that stuff. They lived with her, and she
That's-
calls him his new son.
Yeah, that's like
what?
beyond
That's
me.
also
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
beyond
That's
me.
all. Yeah, it's also a really
The
good
forgiveness.
testament.
I could
She
never.
really
love.
just didn't like her first son.
Stop.
But dude, like,
That's a really good testament. Yeah,
that's
it's a good
like-
testament to her faith.
Yeah, that's like
just-
beyond anything I couldn't
that's
get there.
to me, that's like the most powerful thing. And regardless if you believe in God or not,
Or
that's
like-
beautiful.
to have that.
Or
That's
like Mitzi,
beautiful.
her ministry, Mitzi, what
Yeah.
is she? My step grandmom.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
She had a ministry where she talked to like people that, like, I'm not going to give any details, but she actually talked to people and ministered to people that committed murders and like switched their lives around and stuff. And I don't know where I was going with that. Just
No, I remember her talking about the one time how she was like, it's funny how you'll have someone who's this, like,
yeah,
who more to us will look morally great and be a good person and a philanthropist and all this stuff. You talk about Christ, they get angry. They
And
hate
then
it.
this murderer
And then
is,
you have
like,
this murderer, and you
begging
tell them about
for
Christ, and they just all of a
forgiveness.
sudden, she said, like, you just see the light in their eyes.
Yeah, it's
And
interesting.
they become a person, and it's like, it's not about who you are. Like, just
Not
understand,
about
not
what you.
you.
It's not about what you do.
It's
understanding
not
that we're
you,
all
it's Jesus.
depraved and that
Yeah.
we're all just like so short of the glory of God,
Yeah.
and just being like, hey, some people that you're not going to be like, dude, look at Peter, look at all them with Paul
Yeah.
comes, people who murdered Christians, probably killed their friends. I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine that. I can't imagine if someone came and killed you two guys and then later was like, hey, I'm a Christian now. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, go be a
Like,
Christian over there.
And then he becomes like
He gets called by Jesus himself.
he gets called by, but that's the kind of stuff that, like, you know what I mean? That's
God
the type of
uses
stuff that,
bad for His glory.
yeah, and it's amazing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so,
It's
you
pretty
know,
dope.
I
It's a
pray
shame-
for
it's a
I
shame
pray
that-
for these people's families. I think we should all think about that and how, you know, God can work through these tragedies. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, thoughts and prayers, they don't mean anything. Hey, if anything ever happens to me, I want all your thoughts and all your prayers, because I believe God can do amazing things, and I think he can work through all these things. And
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think in any way that,
They
you
caught
know.
the guy, right?
yeah, no,
Okay,
he
good.
I think he
wanted to
he
get caught,
live
yeah.
streamed. It's insane. But this
He-
is the type of stuff that now people on the left are going to act like people on the right like this, and it's like, dude, nobody likes this. This is
Who
horrible.
likes
Stop
this?
trying to pin
Like,
this
No,
on.
it's
What?
just narrative. It's all narrative.
It's horrible because it's one of those things where it's
That's
like,
how you know who doesn't really care about it when they're rather use it to prove themselves right.
dude, people want
rather
to use
than
it for
just acknowledge for what it is.
people want to use it for political leverage, and now
Yeah,
people are like,
yeah.
oh, this is gun control. This is because Kyle Rittenhouse got free. It's like, dude, Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked
Also,
not even
totally
close.
different circumstances.
during a riot,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they tried to make it. Remember, they tried to say the people who attacked him were black. But what?
No, they,
But
No,
they
they weren't.
weren't.
they're just
No,
as
they
white as
weren't.
he
They
was.
weren't. Yeah.
No, they were just as white as he was.
But even the fact,
Yes.
even if they were black, they attacked him. Like, who cares?
Even
and
if
if
you
Kyle
were a
Rittenhouse,
marshmallow person and you attacked me, I'm going to defend myself.
if Kyle Rittenhouse was a black dude, people and those people were white, people were like, that's what people would say. Be like, oh, it
Right.
would have been. And it's like, no, what? Like, I feel like America is so much more further past that, and then you have like just this regressive left people who want the hate and the things to stay around because they make political
I
hay.
tried to get civil rights laws repealed in California.
Yeah, because they want to discriminate on race because they've gone so far left
That they become.
that they become
they,
the thing
they
they
live. You either die a
long
hero
enough-
or
yep.
you live long enough to see yourself.
They
become a
lived
villain.
long enough to become the villain.
It's insane. But can
Well,
you
that's the
imagine?
thing, though. It's like the Democratic side has been like the worst side as far as like racially charged things for the past maybe 50, 60 years. So they just don't want to see it. Like they'll recognize it, but they'll always blame Republicans for it. They won't actually acknowledge how racist the left has always been.
How long has Atlanta been controlled by Democratic rule?
Yep.
For
All major cities.
how? Yeah, exactly. These giant cities, and they sit there and they still blame Republicans. Like, dude, they don't have any institutional power. At what point do you go? Maybe it's not the Democrats. And I'm not saying the solution's in the Republicans. The
No,
solutions is
no.
in
That's
people
just what-
who.
That's
can
just
talk.
like plot holes you can see right now. Like,
Yeah,